All right, good morning, everyone. I call this meeting to order. Can we do the roll call, please?
Chair Sun?
Here.
Vice Chair Mejia? Here. Director Bentley? Director Anyorve? Here. Director Angeles? Director Rawlings? Director Tanua Thrash has been excused. We have a quorum.
Thank you, Jen. I just want to say one thing, that last month we were here and it was very provincial, I'll call it. It was we were just barely in here, and this month it looks fabulous. The wallpaper behind me, the timeline, everything looks really, really cool. And I know that was I know that everything here is a lot of work, represents a lot of work. Some of you are here and I'd like to thank you for that. It really, really looks cool. All right. So employee recognition. Jen, do you want to take that over?
Sorry. Getting used to the new system, so please bear with me. Good morning, Chair and members of the board, and Mr. McDonald. I am Jen Flores, Board Secretary. In support of LBT's strategic priority of fostering employee engagement, it is my pleasure to acknowledge the Employees of the Month for November 2023. Bus operator Frederick Williams has been employed with LBT for 22 years, and this is his second Employee of the Month nomination. He is a pleasure to work with and is dedicated to serving the community. Providing reliable bus service and making everyday life better for our customers is only possible with stellar employees like Operator Williams. Mechanic Michael Alvarez has been employed with LBT for over a year. This is his first Employee of the Month nomination. In his short time with the organization, he has demonstrated a good work ethic and willingness to learn. Michael approaches his work enthusiastically and is always open to new ideas. He is fearless in troubleshooting complex bus problems, and he knows this helps his development. Melissa is a senior accountant in our finance and budget department. She has been employed with LBT for 5 years, and this is her first Employee of the Month nomination. She has shown excellent performance and commitment to her job during her tenure. In addition, Melissa has led month-end tasks and presentations during staffing shortages in the department. Her exceptional organizational skills prove to be a great benefit for our team and LBT. It is my pleasure to now present these valuable members of the Long Beach Transit team.
Hello, I'm Frederick Williams. I've been a bus operator for Long Beach Transit for 22 years. My favorite part of working for LBT is dealing with the passengers. I like to be treated the way they like to be treated, and just enjoy my work overall. I enjoy being Employee of the Month. It just showed that Long Beach Transit recognize their operators and treat them how they want them to be treated.
So my name is Michael Alvarez. I'm a mechanic here at LBT for a year and a half. My favorite part working at LBT is the environment. The people, everyone around here is really nice to have, and good environment. I feel very grateful for being Employee of the Month.
I am Melissa Cayley. I am the senior accountant, and I've been with LBT for over 5 years. My favorite part about working at LBT is that there's always something new to learn and be exposed to. It's definitely never boring. Being Employee of the Month definitely makes me happy. There's a lot of deserving people here, so to be awarded Employee of the Month is an honor.
Thank you to all of the employees of the month for being dedicated to connecting communities, moving people, and making everyday life better. We appreciate all our essential workers, especially our own. Thank you.
Thank you, Jen. Is there any public comment? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to public comment. Item number 4. At this time, is there any public comment from the audience?
Yes, we have one, Chair. Louis Schmidt.
Okay. At this time, I invite members of the public who want to address the board on any matter that does not appear on the agenda and is within the board's jurisdiction. If you have not already done so, I ask that you submit a speaker card to the board secretary. Comments are limited to 3 minutes. Agenda item 10 will provide an additional opportunity for members of the public who want to address the board on any matter that does not appear on the agenda and is within the board's jurisdiction. The board is here to receive comments only, and there will be no exchange of dialogue with the commenters. Go ahead.
Good morning, members of the board, Chairman Sutton, and members of the public. My name is Louis Schmidt, Senior Business Rep. I'm here today to talk about contract negotiations, but I want to first reference a comment, Chair Sutton. Before the meeting began, you said, when is Santa Claus coming? I think that's what I heard you say, right? It's a good spirit. It's the holiday season. Santa Claus, it comes when it's a time of giving, a time of giving thanks and stuff like that. But the men and women that we represent, the men and women that you put up on the board to acknowledge, we're not looking for Santa Claus. We're looking for an equitable compensation package. Long Beach Transit is not competitive. We've told you guys that already. But the wages aren't competitive. I think it was 2021, Long Beach Transit did a class and comp study for the unrepresented classifications. So anybody who was not represented by a union got their classification studied. We've been asking for this at the table for 2 contracts now, and now this 3rd contract. And what we're told is wait till 2026. That's unacceptable. What we're asking for is you already paid for this service before. Why wouldn't you just do the whole agency? Because it's not competitive. And the CEO's comeback is that if we do a class and comp study, then it's just going to give the false expectations that we need to do something. But you're only kicking the can down the road. You're losing quality talent. You're losing quality talent to other agencies. We're not Metro. We understand that. We're not MTA. But the employees, the current offer on the table is not satisfactory. We're not even going after inflation, the cost of everything, the cost of living. Like we told you before, most of the employees here can't even afford to live in Long Beach, and they travel hours and hours just to commute back and forth. So what we're asking for the board is to give some direction. We need a class and comp study, not until 2026. That's too far. That doesn't address the needs of the men and women who make Long Beach Transit happen every day. So what we're asking for you is to give the CEO the direction to offer an equitable compensation package. We're not even going after, our offer is not even to chase inflation. So please listen, we're not asking for anything for free. We're not asking for Santa Claus to give us gifts. We're asking for Long Beach Transit to recognize the men and women that make this transit happen every day throughout the entire community. Thank you for your time. And we look forward to making some progress at the negotiation table that we haven't made so far. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other comments from the public? Okay. I have a written comment submitted by letter from James Newdorp. A prayer for Long Beach Transit rank and file employees. Heavenly Father, or whatever you put your faith in, keep bus operators safe as they drive down some of the narrow streets of Long Beach, deal with sometimes psychotic passengers that want to cause trouble, and the countless traffic hazards they face each and every day. Protect mechanics from a lifetime of chronic exposure to chemicals, electrical shock, The 3,500 pounds of high pressure on CNG coaches, skin burns from working on hot engines on buses that is out on routes. Protect customer service from physical and verbal abuse from disgruntled customers over the phone or while assigned to the transit center. Protect stops and zones workers while working on the streets during the rainy and hot summer days and to keep them from being assaulted again. Protect custodians from long-term exposure to chemicals, biohazards, and hazardous waste. Keep utilities personnel safe as they clean and service buses that can sometimes have vomit, feces, needles, and condoms. Protect transit supervisors as they interact with the public in often dangerous, difficult, and stressful predicaments. Keep maintenance supervisors diligent to do quality assurance inspections while at the same time they mentor new mechanics, during which time they are under pressure. Make sure that buses are rolled out throughout the course of the day. Give training supervisors wisdom to share their knowledge, insight, and experiences that mold the next generation of operators, mechanics, utilities, custodians, and stops and zone personnel. Protect warehouse personnel as they lift and move heavy and awkward items, and keep them diligent to make sure that the correct materials are available to support other departments. Protect facilities technicians from long-term exposure to every hazard: electrical, mechanical, pneumatic, traffic, chemical, bio, etc., as they serve and support all departments and make Long Beach Transit succeed. I, the name of the God of Abraham, or whatever you put your faith in. That concludes James Newdorf's comments, his letter. I'll ask one more time. Are there any comments from the public? We're pointing at someone. Oh, we recognize that our board member, thank you, has arrived. Appreciate it. Anything else? Okay.
Yes, I have one member, Dana.
Good morning. I'm sorry I couldn't attend this meeting in person. My name is Dana LaRoche. I'm the president of ASME Local 3620 and a long-term employee with Long Beach Transit. And I too am here to update the board on continuing negotiation struggles. As you may recall, the last meeting, we were still operating on an expired contract. Negotiations have stalled with little effort to reform the compensation structure for the workers of this organization. Long Beach Transit has positioned itself as a non-competitive agency and has shown no interest in correcting the existing compensation levels. Amplified by rising inflation and cost of living, our wages have not kept pace, leaving us further and further behind. As Luis explained, back in October of 2021, a classic compensation study was performed and implemented for all non-union positions, so their salaries would remain competitive. We were just asking for the same, a class and compensation study to be performed and implemented for the workers of this organization. Additionally, we asked that the agency remove their proposals to violate California labor laws and sick leave protections for workers. The contract language has been in existence for some time and should remain adequate enough for status quo. I thank you for your time and consideration of the struggles that the workers of this organization are facing, and I hope that you will support our efforts to obtain a fair and equitable contract. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Your comments. Okay. Are there any other comments?
Is there anybody else from Zoom? No.
Okay, hearing no more comments, then we'll move to item 5, the President and CEO report.
Good morning, Chair Sutton, members of the board, and all who assembled here today. I am Kenneth McDonald, President and CEO at Long Beach Transit. My monthly agency report will highlight some of the accomplishments and ongoing activities centered around our strategic priorities. Our strategic priorities are improve safety and service quality, exercise financial accountability, foster employee engagement, enhance our customer experience, and promote community and industry focus. Today, I will highlight two events that LBT participated in the last couple of weeks. As I reported in October at the October Board of Directors meeting, from November 15th to the 17th, the California Transit Association held its annual fall conference and expo in Pasadena, California. It can be seen in this photo here. I, along with a number of staff and two board of directors, Director Angeles and Director Rollins, attended the conference. At the conference, I participated in a panel entitled Addressing Recruitment Challenges Through Creative Workforce Development Strategies. Secondly, in the agency effort to promote community and industry focus and to foster employee engagement, staff has participated in various community events this month. I want to highlight that on December 2nd, LBT participated in the Belmont Shore Christmas Parade and showcased its holiday theme bus. LBT employees, friends, and families joined Director Bentley at this festive annual community event. This Saturday, December 9th, LBT will participate in the Daisy Lane Holiday Parade. Staff will be decorating bus and waving along with attendees in the crowd, showcasing LBT's sustainable fleet and partnership with the community we serve. That concludes my CEO report for this month. Thank you.
Thank you, Ken. All right, we're moving on to the consent calendar. We have the recommendation to approve the minutes of the regular session meeting held on October 26th, 2023. Can I get a recommendation to approve?
Second.
Thank you. We have a first and second. Jen, can you call the roll? Oh, I have to ask for public comment first. Is there any public comment on last month's meeting? Okay, we'll move on. I'd like to have a roll vote. Thank you.
Chair Sutton.
Aye.
Vice Chair Mejia. We can only have two microphones on at a time. Sorry. Vice Chair Mejia. Aye. Director Angeles. Director Anyorve. Director Thrashentuk. Director Rawlings.
Okay, motion carries. I'm dutifully pressing my yes button, but I couldn't get it to work. Okay. Well, I'll join the list of technology challenged here. Okay, thank you. All right. Getting used to the new setup. It's fun. Okay, it looks like we're moving to the regular calendar and the monthly financial report by Lisa Patton. Agenda item 7, monthly financial report. Go ahead.
Thank you. Good morning, Chair Sutton, members of the board, and Mr. McDonald, and to everybody assembled here today. Happy holidays. My name is Lisa Patton, and I am the Executive Director and Vice President of Finance and Budget, and I'm before you today to present the financial report for the period of July 1, 2023 through October 31st, 2023. So we're 4 months through the year, so a third of the way. If we look at the first page of our report, we can see the operating revenue, which is the revenue that Long Beach Transit directly generates. We can see passenger fares are above budget for the month and year to date. We're seeing that trend. On dial-lift fares, those are fairly consistent and remain fairly flat compared to the prior year. If we look down to advertising revenue, we see an increase this month, and that reflects the timing of the annual true-up on that contract. Under interest and miscellaneous this month, we do see an increase in the LAIF interest. Under subsidy revenue, you'll see state, county, and local subsidies are on track. The federal subsidy is delayed, and that's just the time. When we drop down to the bottom part of the first page, we see the operating expenses by groupings, and we can see operations is at 95% of budget for the month and the year to date. Under maintenance, they're right on point at 100% of budget, 94% year to date. Administration is at 86%, and then fuel is at 88% for the month, 83% year to date. So if we go to the next page of our report, page 2, we can see the detail of these expenses. And first we can see labor, which is people in the people business. This is our biggest area of investment. And we can see under the operators for the month, they're at 96% of budget, 95% year to date. Maintenance is above budget this month, and that's a reflection of an increase in overtime. They're at 97% year to date. Under staff, it's at 85% of budget for the month and 86% year to date. If we drop down next to fringe benefits, which are derived as a proportion largely of labor expense, we can see an increase this month for uniform and tool allowance, which is just the timing on when those are ordered. Year to date, it's at 72%. Under services, if we drop down to the bottom, we can see an increase for the month for contract maintenance, and that included CNG transmission repairs. Under other, which is always when people ask what other is, it's what everything else is. But in this case, it happens to be the lease commissions that are reflected there. So you'll see that's above budget. If we go to page 3 of our report, material and supplies, we can see one of the areas, fleet parts and supplies, that we're seeing an increase in expenses this year. And so you'll see that's above budget at 104% for the month, 105% for the year. For the month of October, it happened to show larger increases in ignition coils for the CNG buses. Under other material and supplies, we do see that that's above budget for the month at 124%, 107% year to date. The month of October included out of service signs and L brackets for transit customer amenities and computers and laptops for information. Under casualty and liability costs, you'll see that's an increase, and we are experiencing higher renewals this year than budgeted. Under miscellaneous expenses, you'll see dues and subscriptions. The month of October included the dues for Zebra, which is the Zero Emission Bus Regional Alliance. Under other, you'll see that's slightly above budget for the month and the year to date at 101%. The month of October included this OPUS, the Oil Price Information Service, and printing for operations for forms. If we go to the last page of our report, the balance sheet, we can see an increase in cash and investments. And when we drop down to the receivables, we can see there was a decline in the receivables for the county and local that made up for that increase. That completes my report. I am happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the board?
I just have a quick suggestion and a comment. It would be helpful, Lisa, if for the sake of the people in the audience and people on the internet that may be watching, is if you talk about the budget report, that you actually flash. We have all this fancy technology to actually flash it and refer to it, as opposed to just having the board members follow you in terms of the report, because often the people that are either listening don't have access to necessarily the actual report. So just as a suggestion, when you're talking, we get it, but they may not get it.
Any other comments? Okay, maybe like a couple. Was there another comment? Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, Lisa. One question about on page 3, sorry, the Aqualink service. I know we've been, sooner or later, we're going to have to switch to battery operated Aqualink and Aquabus. Is that going on right now, or is that too far in the future? Just out of curiosity.
Yes, we have there's a mandate that we have to look at these vehicles on the sort of two-phase approach in terms of not battery, but zero emission technology. So it could be battery, it could be hydrogen, it could be something else, or hybrid of those. Just last week, myself, Lee Berner, and Marisol Baharis went to New Orleans to the annual, together with Catalina Express, to the annual bus show about zero emission and changing vehicles. So what we are looking to do, that I will bring to the board as soon as we can get that, is to write a position paper on how we are going to convert the vehicles so that it can be approved, and then we begin that process. So we are doing the research right now to come up with the position paper relative to what Long Beach Transit will do, similar to what we did when we started the bus transition to zero emission. So that should be coming sometime, I would think, in the first quarter or April. I'm looking at April, if we can get a consultant to put the documents together for us on what we need to do.
Thank you for that. So in that transition, will you be pulling out the Aqualink and the Aquabus from service, or getting new?
That will that would be the position people that you're talking there. The idea is that there are a couple of options that are available. How do we upgrade the current engine? Do we go to a hybrid, or do we replace the vehicles? So that's the options that the consultant will look at to give us a report on what is available. There's not a lot available right now. The boats, we have some ability to convert the boats, but when it comes to the Aqualink, there's not a lot out there right now. There's one boat that everyone is looking at that is in Norway. I know everybody wants to go see it. That is and they are sort of the first one that has a boat that I think it takes about 85 to 100 people, but that is a brand new vehicle, not a conversion vehicle. So, like I said, I'm trying to look at within the next 6 months to have that, so that we need that to go after funding. So I have to bring it to the board. First, we approve that plan, and then we start seeking funding to do the transition. So thanks for asking that question.
That was my next question about funding and getting grants. So thank you.
That is the reason we're doing what we're doing right now, because we have to have a position paper to go after grants. So in January, there'll be more information. So when you attend the board, you'll hear about it.
Thank you. Any other comments from the board? Lisa, I'd just suggest, PowerPoint, maybe hit the highlights of the financial report, and then if that's okay with the board, Director Angeles, and then on the boat investigation, I'd like to see you see Long Beach remove any thought of custom, the word custom, because that word indicates a lot of money usually. So off the shelf is highly recommended. All right. I just felt like I had to say that. Okay. Let's move on to item 8.
I wanted to make sure. Can I?
Public comment?
No, no.
Yes, go ahead.
I just wanted to, President McDonald, do you recall the name of that conference that you were just speaking of?
The workboat annual. It's an annual workboat show that is held in New Orleans. Come March, there is a one that is held here in Long Beach. It'll be in March, about passenger boats. So this one had a lot to do with sort of like the boats we operate. And then in March, there is a conference that held every year. It alternates between Long Beach and Vegas. So this year it's in Long Beach sometime, and I will send it to the board if you want to go see what this show, the technologies and what is being developed there. It happens in March here at the convention center. So make sure that you get the information on where we are with it. But there are two events, like I said, that held every year. One is the workboat and one is the passenger vehicle.
Okay, great. Any other comments? All right, thank you. All right. Is there any public comment on Ken's presentation? Hearing none, we'll move on. Item 8, fiscal year 2023 retirement plan. And now Terry Kuhn will present.
Good morning, Chair Sutton, members of the board, Mr. McDonald, and to all who are virtually and physically assembled here today. My name is Terry Kuhn. I'm the Manager of Finance in the Finance and Budget Department. I'm before you today to present the fiscal year 2023 retirement plan financial statements for contract and salaried employees. This is an information-only item. Following my presentation, Ashley Yang, Treasurer, will present the actuarial valuations for each pension plan, which are derived in part from the financial statements that I'm presenting today. Each year, Long Beach Transit's defined benefit plans are audited by a third-party auditor to certify that the associated financial statements are fairly stated in all material aspects and free from material misstatements. This year's audit was conducted by Wines Incorporated, headquartered here in Long Beach, California. Included in each set of financial statements is the independent auditor's report provided by Wines. We'll now begin with a few of the financial highlights from the contract plan statements, starting on page 9 of the report. On page 9 of the contract plan financial statements, you will see that as of the fiscal year ended June 30th, 2023, the contract plan held $76.7 million in assets. These assets are available for payments to retirees and to meet the obligations of current liabilities. Please turn to page 10. At the top of page 10, you'll see during the fiscal year, the employer and employees added approximately $6.7 million in contributions to the contract plan in accordance with the actuarially determined annual contribution rates. As highlighted on the middle of page 10, the plan experienced positive investment returns in the amount of $6.7 million during the fiscal year. And if you look towards the bottom of page 10, you'll see the plan also dispersed approximately $5.8 million in retiree benefit payments. Finally, if you turn to page 24, towards the top of page 24, under Schedule of Funding Progress, this schedule shows that for the fiscal year ended June 30th, 2023, the contract plan had a funding ratio of approximately 72%. Now we'll take a look at a few highlights from the salary plan financial statements. As a reminder, as of April 1st, 2011, this is a closed plan and employees hired after that date are eligible to participate in the company's defined contribution plan program. Let's look at page 8 of this report. On page 8 of the salary plan financial statements, you will see that as of the fiscal year ended June 30th, 2023, the salary plan held $32.3 million in assets. These assets are available for payments to retirees and to meet the current obligations of current liabilities. Please turn to page 9. At the top of page 9, you'll see during the fiscal year, the employer and employees added approximately $1.7 million in contributions to the salary plan in accordance with actuarially determined annual contribution rates. As noted on the middle of page 9, the plan experienced positive investment returns in the amount of $1.9 million during the fiscal year. And at the bottom of page 9, you'll see the plan also dispersed approximately $3.5 million in retiree benefit payments. Finally, turn to page 20. Towards the top of this page, under the Schedule of Funding Progress, this schedule shows that as of the fiscal year ended June 30th, 2023, the salary plan had a funding ratio of 89%. At the conclusion of this year's audit, the auditors issued an opinion stating that the enclosed financial statements for both plans are fairly stated and free from material misstatements. That concludes my presentation, and I'm happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Can I just make the same recommendation with the finance folks, that because again, the audience doesn't necessarily see all the reports per se and follow through. I actually like to listen to the presenters instead of actually reading through the things. Instead of, I like to listen to what you have to say up on the podium. So
Thank you. Before we take comments from the board, are there any public comment?
Yes, Chair, we have one. Louis Schmidt.
Good morning again, Chairman Sutton, members of the board. That was a great presentation to Mr. Kuhn, so thank you for that presentation. But I want to give some more background information on pensions. So the members that you guys recognized at the beginning of the meeting were Mr. Williams, Alvarez, and Ms. Cayley. But the sad thing is that in Long Beach Transit, not everybody has a pension. And Mr. Sutton, you come from Metro, you're under a pension plan, you have retirement security set for you. Some of you city representatives, you guys have a pension in the city, so you have retirement security for yourselves as well. But unfortunately here, Mr. Williams, the driver, he's been here for 22 years, so he has that pension for himself. Michael Alvarez, who just started about a year ago, I think that's what the presentation said, he has a pension. But Ms. Cayley, who just started, the administrative staff, she's been here a few years, she does not have a pension. The employees represented under AFSCME, who anybody after 2011 does not have a pension. So this is not an action item for you for today, but I wanted to make you aware that as an employer in this region, Long Beach Transit must have retirement security for their hard workers who make this transit happen every day. We're in the Rosa Parks room right now, who fought for civil rights and equality. So here, board members, please consider this for the future. How do we make retirement security viable for everybody, not only a segment of our employees? So thank you for your time, but I wanted to put that on your radar. Even if another, with contract negotiations, we guys may have an agreement with ATU, but they have pensions, they have a retirement security for their members. Our members don't have that. And so that's part of the disparity that we have in contract negotiations. But I ask that the board consider some type of ad hoc committee for the future about how do we bring retirement security for everybody, not just for a segment of our population of employees. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Are there any other comments from the public? Anyone online?
No, no one online.
Okay, great. Now we'll bring it back. And any comments from the board or questions for Terry? Okay, I don't hear any. So we'll move on. Terry, thank you so much for your report. Now we'll move to item number 9, actuarial valuation of retirement plans for contract and salaried employees as of July 1. Ashley, would you like to present that item?
Yes, sir. Okay, here's my presentation. So good morning, Chair Sun, members of the board, Mr. McDonald, and to all those who are assembled here physically and virtually. My name is Ashley Liang, and I'm the treasurer for Long Beach Transit. And I am before you today to present the annual actuarial valuations for the retirement plans for contract and salaried employees. These reports are dated as of July 1, 2023, which means it's a valuation of the plans at the end of fiscal year 2023 and a funding projection for fiscal year 2024. Each year, an actuarial valuation is performed to determine the funding level and the funding requirements of the plan and how they've changed year over year. And this is also an information-only item. First, we will review the retirement plans for the contract employees, and then we will move on to the salaried employees. So within this presentation, we will review the following information. We'll first take a look at the financial information, participant data, and historical information of the plan. Okay. So for retirement plan for contract employees, the funding requirements for fiscal year 2024 has increased slightly from 20.90% to 21.01%, translating to an increase from $6.7 million to $7.1 million this year. This change is due to a combination of investment performance in the market and also an evaluation of the plan experience compared to assumption. The anticipated contribution of $7.1 million, or 21.01% of annual pay, is split between Long Beach Transit and plan participants, and with a different contribution percentage depending on the employee's qualification under PEPRA. So PEPRA, short for Public Employees Pension Reform Act, refers to participants whose professional service dates is on or after January 1, 2013. They contribute a slightly higher percentage than non-PEPRA employees. The contribution split between LBT and the participant is so that LBT contributes the first 10%, the employee contributes the next 5%, and anything above 15% in total is split between the two. So for fiscal year 24, LBT will contribute 13% for non-PEPRA employees, while the employees will contribute 8.01%. And for PEPRA employees, LBT will contribute 12.26%, and the employees will contribute 8.75%. In a contract plan, the average age of participants, of active participants, I should say, is approximately 48 years old, with an average age of service of 13 years. Terminated employees who are eligible for future benefits have an average age of 50 years old, and retirees have an average age of 70 years old. We will now delve into the historical data of the plan. This chart shows the participant breakdown of the current plan year as well as the prior 4 plan years. So for the current plan year, there are 558 active participants with 54 terminated participants who have not yet begun receiving their benefits. And the plan currently pays monthly retirement benefits to 104 participants. So fluctuations in a plan such as this, which is open, is as expected as each new entrants come in each year, and those who retire will fall into the in-pay status. So this slide shows the plan's future obligations and its asset to fund those liabilities. So the present value of future benefits, as you see in the gray shaded bars to the left, is the present value of benefit payments that are expected to be paid to all current participants over their lifetimes. This liability for July, as of July 1, 2023 for the contract plan is $107 million. The plan's market value of investment assets of $76.7 million is showing the dark blue to the right of the grayish shaded bars. And then the future obligation amount not covered by market performance or market assets, as showing teal to the right, represents the remaining liability that will be funded from future contributions and investment performance. So for the contract plan, the remaining liability as of July 1, 2023 is $30.2 million. In the years with good market performance and when plan experience exceeds the assumptions, we can expect a funding requirement to be less than the prior year. But the opposite, if there's a year where market performance is below the expectation or the plan experience is below that of the assumptions, we can expect a higher requirement for the following year. Okay. So this page shows a 10-year history of the plan assets, or plan history of asset returns. The plan year ended for June 30th, 2023. As Mr. Kuhn mentioned, the plan's assets return was 9.54%, as showing the teal line you see in the middle. The solid black line in the middle of the graph represents the plan's expected rate of return of 6.5% for the plan. Over the last 5 years, the plan has returned an average of 4.69%. Now, this concludes my presentation for the contract plan. I'd be happy to answer any questions for this plan before delving into the salaried one.
Thank you, Ashley. Are there any, before we bring it inside, are there any comments from the public? Are there any comments online? Okay, so we'll bring it inside. Are there any comments from the board or questions for Ashley? Director Angeles?
Can you hear me now? Okay. Thank you for the presentation. That is kind of presentation I was looking for, and the other ones as well. Just quick question: is the COLAs that dependent upon the stock market on the investments on any received? Is there a threshold for allowing any sort of cost of living adjustments on this, or no?
There There are certainly adjustments to this compensation that's built within the assumptions of the valuation report, but that is a set amount that's been determined as an assumption. So it's not it's not market dependent.
Any other questions?
Chair, I do have an online comment. Danny?
Hi, good morning. Just touching on the salary and the pension program. Has LBT ran stats on how many employees do not have a pension? And also, what would be the cost of that? Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Comments from the public are just comments. If you have a question, staff will consider your question and respond to your question after the meeting at some point. Do you have a statement? Does that conclude our public comments?
Yes, I'll wait for a response.
Well, we're not going to present a response right now. We'll
Oh, no, yes. Afterwards would be fine. Understood.
Okay. All right, terrific. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Are there any comments or questions from the board? I'll ask one more time. All right, hearing none. Thank you so much, Ashley. And I guess you whipped up that PowerPoint right there in your seat after Director Angeles suggested that to the other two speakers. Thank you so much. Oh, you have another one. Oh, we're blessed with another presentation. Go ahead.
So now I will present the valuation results of the retirement plan for salaried employees as of July 1, 2023. So they are very similarly structured. So the following slides will review the plan's financial information, participant data, and also historical information of the plan. Okay, so unlike the contract plan, the salary plan is now closed to participants with professional service date on or after April 1, 2011. And no new employees can enter this plan. Next. Okay. So compared to the prior year, the funding requirements for this plan has also increased slightly from 30.62% to 32% of annual pay, translating to an increase of from $1.2 million to $1.3 million for fiscal year 2024. This change is also due to a combination of market performance, as well as an evaluation of plan experience compared to plan assumptions. So the anticipated contribution of $1.3 million or 32% of annual pay is split between LBT and the plan's participants, whereas the participating employees pay 5% of their annual pay and the Long Beach Transit pays the remaining 27%. In this plan, the average age of active participants is approximately 54 years old with an average service years of 22 years. Since the plan is close to new entrants, we can expect the average age as well as the average years of service to continue to increase year over year. The terminated participants who are eligible for future benefits have an average age of 56 years, and retirees have an average age of 71 years old. We will now delve into the historical data of the plan. This chart shows the participant breakdown of the current plan year as well as the prior 4 plan years. For the plan year beginning July 1, 2023, there are 60 active participants who are vested in their benefits, and there are currently 11 terminated participants who have not yet begun receiving their benefits. The plan currently pays monthly retirement benefits to 42 participants, and since the plan is close to new entrants, there will be a continual decrease in active population, while the number of retirees will increase each over year as the participant terminate and go into pay status. Okay, so this slide shows the history of the plan's future obligations and its assets to fund those liabilities. So once again, the present value of future benefits, as you see in the gray shaded bars to the left, is the present value of benefit payments expected to be paid to all current participants over their lifetimes. This liability for the salary plan as of July 1, 2023 is $36.2 million. The plan's market value of the investment assets of $32.4 million is showing the dark blue to the right. And so the future obligation amount not covered by the market value of assets is showing teal at the top of the right column, represents the remaining liability balance that will be funded by future contributions and future investment returns. Oh, so the salary plan's remaining liability balance is $3.8 million. So this page, similar to the contract plan, represents the 10-year history of the asset returns. For the plan year ended June 30th, 2023, the salary plan assets returned 6.14%, as shown in the teal line, and the black solid line in the middle represents the plan's expected rate of return of 6%. So over the last 5 years, the plan has averaged a return of 3.88%. Now this concludes my presentation for the salary plan, and happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Ashley. Are there any questions from the public here in the room? Okay, seeing none, are there any questions online? I mean, I'm sorry, comments online. Okay. Are there any comments from the board? Okay, Ken?
I want to clarify something that Terry Kuhn said. Every employee in Long Beach Transit has a pension program. There is not a single employee in our agency that does not. You either have a defined benefit or a defined contribution. And if you do not have a pension, it's because you made the choice not to participate. We've also put that there is when you are hired, you opt into the program with Long Beach Transit committing 5% to any employee that is hired in the organization. The employee can then, in the defined contribution, the employee can then add 5% of up to 5% of their salary, and the company matches that. That is probably more generous than any pension program that you can find out there. So I want to make sure that Terry mentioned it sort of went kind of over the point that after 2011 we had a change, but there is not an employee in this organization who does not have a pension program. I don't want the board walking away thinking that if there is not, and I've talked with ATU and the other unions about, there are employees who have come to us and say they do not want to be in the pension program. I normally try to discourage that because you don't know that you need a pension until you really need it. So every one of us, who came in after 2011, is in the defined contribution program. People before 2011 are in the defined benefit program. So I just want, and Terry mentioned it, but it was sort of glossed over in the way that that clarity was not given to pension in Long Beach Transit.
Thank you, Ken. Are there any questions? Well, if you have a comment and you want to make a comment and you want to put a question in your comment, please come up and be heard. So I'd like to remind you, if you have not already done so, you will need to submit a speaker card to the board secretary, and comments are limited to 3 minutes. You may address the board only one time on this agenda item. The board is here to receive comments only, and there will be no exchange of dialogue with the commenters. You may present, and then if you would fill out a comment card, I'd appreciate it. You can ask a comment, and we'll probably have to respond to you later. Yes.
My name is Rick Operchuk. I'm a former employee of Long Beach Transit. My question is, how can somebody choose not to have a pension? Which is what Mr. McDonald had just said. That's my only question. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Would you mind walking over, Mr. Obershaw, would you mind walking over to Jen there and filling out a comment card? Appreciate it. Any addressing of that comment, or?
So I would state what I said earlier. If you come in, you have the option to decide. That is not an option we encourage to anybody. So therefore, in the defined contribution program, we, the company puts 5% of an employee's pay, even if the employee did not contribute anything in. You do not have an option with the defined benefits, but that program has been going on forever. When you join the company, you're part of the defined benefit program. But all new employees who are not represented before 2011 comes into the defined contribution program. Hope that makes clarity to everyone what I'm saying. I think Terry said it, but it wasn't as extensive as I'm saying here. He mentioned that after 2011, everyone that comes in that are not in the ATU, that has been in the previous defined benefit program goes into the defined contribution.
So I do have a question or follow up on that, Ken. I assume the employee has to sign something that releases that offer and understand. They sign something that says, I understand that I'm releasing my rights to this 5% benefit.
They do not, because the 5% is automatic. They don't have to contribute any more.
Okay.
You can decide I'm not going to put any more of my money, but the company puts 5%
regardless.
When you get the job, so that there is that's why I said every single person gets a pension.
And can they change their mind later down the road and say, as effective of this period, of this enrollment period, I can?
I don't.
We're talking about the pensions, and they decline because they don't want to make the mandatory contributions. I don't know if they can get back in later. We're talking about the contract plan for the state.
I'd appreciate it if you could find out for sure, because people's lifestyles change, and a young person may decide that they don't need that, and then later down the road they have a family and go, uh-oh. So I appreciate you looking into that. Thanks. Any other comments? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to item 10. Item 10 is set aside for public comment. And Ashley, thanks for your second report. So item 10, any member of the public may approach the lectern and upon recognition by the chair, state his name or her name and proceed to address the board on any item within the subject matter jurisdiction of the Long Beach Transit Board of Directors, provided that no action may be taken on off-agenda items unless authorized by law. Comments shall be limited to 3 minutes unless different time limits are set by the chair, subject to the approval of the board. This is the time at which members of the public may speak on non-agenda matters. So are there any members of the public that would like to share comment? We've had a lot of opportunities today, and we've had a lot of comments. Anybody online? Okay, hearing none, we move to board requests, item 11. Are there any board requests? Yes, Director?
So since there was so much discussion about it today, I think it might be helpful for a presentation regarding the difference between the contract and salaried employees, the benefits accrued regarding, retirement and pension plans, and just be able to walk through that so that we have that clear for us and for the public.
It would be great for all different types of employees, right? Include, yes, contract and non-contract. Any other questions from the board or requests? Okay, hearing none. We'd like to recognize Colleen Bentley. She has served as Long Beach Transit Board of Directors for 2 terms beginning in 2016 through 2023, which was 8 years of unwavering support for public transportation in Long Beach. On behalf of the Long Beach Transit Board of Directors, I want to extend my deepest gratitude and appreciation to you, Colleen, for your tireless service to Long Beach Transit over the last 8 years. And you have been a strong proponent in minority business and locally owned businesses participating in Long Beach procurement and being awarded contracts, and including customer amenities. And I just like to thank you for your years of service and all you've done for Long Beach Transit and your leadership. So it's a little sad to see you go, yeah, but you were one of the senior members here when I was just getting started, and it was nice to know somebody had that experience when I had questions. So Jen would like to come up and present you with a plaque for your years of service. So does anybody have a camera? We'd like to get a picture, I think, of Colleen and the plaque. Yeah. Right. You could probably get that out there. We're going to do the picture later, or? Oh, she's coming. Yeah. Oh, yeah, let's do that.
Well, thank you, David, for your kind words. It has been a very enlightened experience serving on this board. I mean, I learned things about buses I never ever would have thought about, and about the Aqua Links and the Aqua Bus and everything. It's just been amazing what I've learned. Who knew? I mean, it's called Long Beach Transit, yet we serve 13 cities. I mean, I never knew that before. 250 buses and all those things. What I'm a low point was probably during the pandemic when everything was going down, down, down. But now we're coming back up again, and ridership is increasing, and that's very positive and powerful. The thing that I most remember was when we first did the contracts for the battery electric buses, and we went out to Palmdale. Is that where it was? Where BYD, but Lancaster, and just saw how these buses were made. It was just really impressive to see what was happening, and to see now we have. I'll check with Lee. 44 buses, yeah, battery electric buses. So that's from 0 to 44 is just very impressive. So thank you all for allowing me to serve. I really don't want to go off the board, but I think I have to, unless I can ask the mayor to let me stay until we appoint somebody else. But then I might have to give this back, which I'm not going to do. So anyhow, thank you all. Thank you to the staff. Thank you, Jen. Thank you to the employees, to everybody who's been responsive to questions that we all have. It's been really a good experience. I have benefited so much from being on this board. So thank you all. And I don't want to cry. So thank you.
Doug, can we adjourn before we take the photo so that we don't have to come back? Or
well, I don't think we're done. I still have. Yeah.
Okay. All right, Raul, go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. Colleen, I'm saddened. I don't know why I thought you were leaving in 2024. I mean, I know we're on the cusp of, but I thought you were leaving during the first quarter of 2024. So I'm saddened to hear this sudden news. I so appreciate your questions and your comments. Having served on the board for about a year and a half, I've always appreciated serving with you. I remember when I started volunteering in the city of Long Beach, maybe 15 years ago, joining boards and commissions, I remember always seeing your name on Facebook. And I thought one day I'm sure I'm going to cross paths with Colleen. She just seems to be very involved and very well known and very well liked. And it just so happened, and I didn't even know you were on Long Beach Transit Board when I joined in May of last year. So it was a pleasant surprise. I also enjoyed traveling to the 2 conferences that we went to together. You've been a very special member of this board, and so I will miss you. And thank you for all your contributions. And I'm sure I will see you in the community. Thank you.
Thanks, Raul. Any other comments from the board? Go ahead, Abigail.
I will also like to say how much I'm going to miss you. You are such a trailblazer, not only in this board, but also in the community. I've seen you have touched so many people's lives, and you volunteer so much because you care, and you care to make a difference and make an impact. I'm so grateful that I got this experience to serve with you, and I know that this is not the end. You're going to be serving in a lot more boards and a lot more commissions, so thank you for everything.
Thanks, Abigail. Any others? Okay. Go ahead, Ken.
Said something before I do, but I think I've been in this position for 10 years, and of that I've spent 8 years with you here. So I know a lot of what we've done, and that you've seen the changes that have gone on in this, and how you have helped to change and improve Long Beach Transit. I think that's what I appreciate mostly, is that you were very good at calling and saying, here are some things that we can do, and sharing your ideas and making things better for the organization. So that I really truly appreciate. I know all the staff does too, because you have been very instrumental in helping getting a number of things done. Like I remember when you said you were going to go ride the bus with Sumi and get to know what the customers experience. That to me is an important part of a board member, understanding the service that we provide and how that service functions. So on your effort with DBE, I think you've really have been steadfast on how do we really involve more local and disadvantaged businesses in the business of running Long Beach Transit. So you have brought some truly valuable aspects to this organization, and I thank you very much on behalf of myself and every member of Long Beach Transit staff. Thank you for your service.
Where's the Kleenex when we need it, right? I said, where's the Kleenex when we need it here? All right, awesome. Well, Colleen, you'll be greatly missed. All right, we're now ready for item number 15, adjournment. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Thank you. Second?
I'll second that. My last second.
That's very appropriate. Awesome. Now, Jen, would you call the roll, please?
Chair Sutton,
Aye.
Vice Chair Mejia,
Aye.
Director Angeles, Director Anyorve, Director Bentley,
Aye.
Director Rawlings, Director Thrashentuk.
Motion's been approved, and I'd like to say that we're going to close in honor of Colleen today. Thank you so much for your years of service, and on behalf of Long Beach Transit, I'd like to wish you all happy holidays, and I'd like to commend all of the hard work from our employees that have to work on the holiday eves and during the holidays. We really appreciate your help and your willingness to work those days for the service of our customers. Thank you. Meeting is adjourned.